Houston needs you to understand. That's the low country class. Wake up. You're in Charleston. Let that spread. Put your sign between your legs and bring your hands together. Let that spread. Only Charleston can do this. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Come on now. Oh. Hey, come on now. Put your feet in there. Come on. That's the low country.
Then put your feet in. That's what I'm talking about. We're going to start the march shortly. And we don't have any specific order. I prefer everybody get in where you fit in. Because in this battle against gun violence doesn't discriminate. It doesn't say, okay, because you're councilman so-and-so or congressman so-and-so, because you're school board so-and-so, or you're PTA member, or you work at McDonald's. It doesn't make any difference. It doesn't make any difference if you're sitting in a church or at a club. It doesn't make any difference. So when we march, we'll march in that same manner. Because it's going to take all of us working together in order to fix this problem.
Ghetto boy, playing in the ghetto street. What you gonna do when you grow up and have to face responsibility?
Production.
Weeping old and gray. Now the mother out of God to carry every child that has not been out now. Now the mother out of God
What you gonna do when you grow up? Have to face responsibility.
Stop the violence.
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 Increase the peace.
Increase the peace.
So, this is that part of the program where we give a microphone to those who have been directly impacted by gun violence. As Marvin Gaye has said, you know, mothers, mothers, there's far too many of you crying, and brothers, 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 there's far too many of you dying. We've got mothers, I do believe there might be a father or two that might even be here today, who, yes, this is open. Anybody that's lost a loved one to gun violence.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. On February 20th of this year, I lost my son to gun violence. You know, to really think about it, a lot of young people don't realize. A lot of y'all always saying y'all ain't afraid to die and y'all want to live this hardcore life, but y'all don't think about the people that y'all left behind. You know, I mean, it takes a second to shoot somebody, and it takes a second to think about, you know, where your life gonna be at if you take somebody else's life. You know, it's sad. I'm praying for my community. I'm praying for the young men all over. It's just, it takes a lot. I've known some parents, some mothers who actually committed suicide because they can't live without their child. And that's so hurtful to have to really think, as a mother, to have to think these thoughts in your head.
Wow, Jesus.
But I got the strength in my community, my family, and God.
Love you.
It's just hard. So for anybody thinking, I want y'all to really think about the people who y'all gonna leave behind, either if y'all in jail or 6 feet under. You know, the people who commit the crime too, y'all leaving loved ones behind who, you know, wasn't even expect for y'all to be in a position like that. So all I'm here to do is ask that y'all pray for the community, pray for all these young kids, and pray for the mom, pray for the families that's left behind. Thank you.
Went out on October 8th, 2013. It was he actually enrolled on October 8th, October 7th, 2013, at 12:10. October 8th, 2013, he was dead. It was his 18th birthday. He was 10 minutes into his 18th birthday. Never had an opportunity to celebrate. I never had an opportunity to say happy birthday, hug him, kiss him, tell him how much I loved him. That day has truly turned my life upside down. That person that I was on October 8th, 2017, that person died at 12:10 when my son took his last breath. It has turned my family upside down. It has caused a lot of trauma, not only in my life, my daughter's life. It's horrible. Nobody understands what it is, you know, to bury that child. I hear, and I've even read posts where people have said, you know, they don't want to support the marches. They don't want to be out there to support so many things. But you know what? They will never understand how important these marches are until it actually happens to them. I had to learn that way. I never ever knew pain until I buried my child. You know, people will, you know, I buried a mother, I buried a father, and you know what? It ain't the same thing. It ain't the same thing. You carried that child 9 months. You raised that child. That child is a huge portion of you. And I can't even begin to stand here and tell you the importance of everything, of marches and rallies like this mean. I try to support as much as I can because, like I said, I had to learn how important these things are through my son. You know, my son was, I had two children. I had my son and my daughter. My daughter was in college during the time that my son had just graduated from high school and was registered to attend Trident Technical College that January. His father pretty much had his business set up for him, auto mechanics. You know, I still have projects sitting in my yard that he started and was not allowed to finish because of gun violence. You know, I was telling some friends this morning, you know, this is the first year that I actually put up a Christmas tree because I haven't been able to do it because this time of year was one of his favorites, celebrating Christmas with his family. You know, and it's so hard. And, you know, as the years go by, you learn to adjust, but it doesn't dull that pain. That pain is still there each and every day. When I open my eyes, I wake up with that pain. When I go to bed at night, I wake up with that pain. I don't cry like I used to, but I still cry. There's not 1 second of the day that goes by that I don't think about my son. There's not a second of the day that I don't hear his voice, which I will never be able to hear again in reality. I have to think about it, remember what it used to be like, but all I can say to the other mothers out here, continue to be strong. Let's continue to support one another. Let's continue to put the word out there that gun violence has got to stop. Let's continue to speak our pain. And let me tell you, whatever it is that you feel, speak of it. They need to know what it is that you're going through. They need to hear it. I've even been on Facebook and put a message out there to the murderer of my child because this case has not been solved. That person out there is still running around. And it makes me so angry that I have to think my baby lost his life for nothing. And this person is out there going about their life happy-go-lucky, not feeling anything. That angers me. Speak your pain. I speak my pain all the time and I let them know. I know that you're reading my posts. And if you're not reading it, somebody's telling you about it. You destroyed my life. My life as I know it, you destroyed it. And I hate to say it, but I hope he rests in hell. You put my son as R.I.P., I want you to go R.I.H. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. But we as mothers, we have to stick together with one another. This time of the year is difficult, but we've got to be there for one another in this moment. And all I can say is I love you all. It's unfortunate that we all became a member of a club we didn't even apply for. But we're here. So we have to support one another. I love you all. And thank you.
November 30th, 2015. The murder of our sons, Aquatis, baby boy, my only child, impacted our families in a way that we never could imagine. It left us with a heartbreak that, honestly, I don't think anybody could ever imagine. It's like a piece of your soul has left your body because the one that you love is no longer here, and you have no answers as to why. The two of them were together. Someone shot them. They both died. My son died at the scene. McQuitta's son died at the hospital. Going through the waiting process of who did it, because of course the person who did it didn't immediately turn themselves in. We had to wait for them to turn themselves in. We had to wait for a trial 2 years later. And each time the solicitor's office would call us, it was like reliving a bad dream over and over again. It's not one thing for us to lose our children, but the legal process and the weight of it is extremely painful. It's like you reliving a nightmare over and over again. Through our pain, we've gotten stronger. Like Monica said, it's never anything that you anticipate happening. We were both involved in our communities prior to our children being murdered. So we knew how to be involved. We never thought it would happen to our children, as many mothers out here thought. But the impact of it drives us to do more for our communities. We started a nonprofit, which is We Are Their Voices, that helps to bring the mission to stop gun violence. Our co-founder, who's not here, Chandra Bryant, her son is the son that I hold in front of me, and today is the anniversary of her son's death as well. It's a club that no parent wants to join. My son lost his life. He left a young wife, 23 years old, and he also left a 3-year-old son. He turned 3 shortly after his death, 3 days shy of that. But to have a grandchild to come up to you and say, "Is my daddy in heaven?" That's a pain like you could never imagine. To the folks out there who are committing these crimes or involved in these illegal activities, you're impacting families in a way that you can never imagine. We don't want to be at a funeral. We don't want to wear these t-shirts that have our children's name on it and rest in peace. We want them to live productive lives. Each day we think about the times that it's the holidays. We don't have our loved ones here anymore. We don't have them to put up Christmas trees and open up presents and to do the things that normal families do on these days. it's hurtful. We don't have that. Imagine opening up Christmas gifts and not having a loved one that you want to be there to open them up with you. This is my only child. This was Laquetta's baby. We didn't ask for this. They didn't ask for this. We need to, like the chief said earlier, create conflict resolution. What in the world could have happened to on that day that would make you take someone's life? Everything can be resolved. It does not have to end in you pulling a trigger and taking someone's life. There's better ways to handle things.
That's true. That is so true.
I, myself, we struggle daily with the fact that yes, the person who killed our child is in jail and he will spend the rest of his life there. Yes, when we was in court that day, we were ecstatic because we got a verdict. But I can tell you right now, the day after we talked, and we were like, you know what? It still hurts. It doesn't matter that he is in jail right now because our children will never be here. We have to go to a grave site to visit them. I just ask that everybody who is here, if you could just reach somebody and just tell them to figure out different ways to handle things. We come out here every day because we hope that we can make an impact on at least one person. And if we can impact one person, then we have done our jobs and our children's lives are not taken in vain. I thank you guys for listening to us, and you keep all of us in your prayers because we need it. We need the prayers and strength of our community in order to get through this. Thank you very much.
So when you hear someone say snitching, there is a definition to it, but criminals have manipulated it to suit them, to get common folks like yourself to shut up. Snitches is when two individuals commit a crime, two individuals, and the purpose of that crime is to gain, whether it's money, murder, whatever it is to gain. And when one of them gets caught and he wants to get out of trouble, he tells. That's snitching. Because two people were breaking the law together. Two people, little man, was breaking the law together. And your partner, which was me, because me and you robbed the store together, I got caught and I didn't want to go to jail. So I told on you. That's snitching. Now, if me and him robbed the store and got away, and Shakim happened to see us and went to the police and said, I think I know who did this. That's not snitching. What he's doing is he's ridding his community of a potential disaster. Because if you let me run the street, I'm not going to kill him. It's going to be your son. It's going to be your son that I kill. And a lot of y'all let these kids run around here faking like telling is wrong. Telling is the best thing we have now. Because what it does is, where's one of the police? If that police lady was to walk in our community, all the drug dealers, all the gun totes would run. They would run because they see her coming. But this is our community. We know these children that are doing these things. And I hate to say this, and I'm going to close with this, because snitching is out of hand. I've heard so many people use that word, don't snitch, Pastor. I'm not going to snitch. I'm not going to snitch. But when it's their child, they want everybody to tell.
Anyway, I know none of y'all probably know this name because she's not from here. She's from my hometown of Spartanburg, Tamisha Collier. Over the summer, she's a young girl. She's 17 years younger than me. She's my cousin. She was married, and she and her husband got in an argument, and she was shot to death as a result, and the husband went out on the run. So it's one thing to have to mourn these things privately as a family, but then throughout the upper part of South Carolina and lower part of North Carolina, our family was grieving pretty much with a statewide audience, and that's even more tough. But I'm here to tell you that, you know, while, like I said, I was born in Spartanburg and I grew up here, the people down here showed me a lot of love during that period that really helped a whole lot during that time. Pastor Dixon was in his sick bed during that time, and he actually asked me if he could come up to Spartanburg with me and my family to help us during that process. I said, Pastor, you don't really need to do that. But at the same time, the reason why I'm bringing all that up is because you see all the love that people like Monica gets in this community behind what happened to her and the love that all of y'all are showing to each other during things like this. This is one of the things that really helps people out during this time. When you know people are going through this, even if you don't know the victim that they know, go and embrace them. Put their arms around them. Come together as a family, as a people, and as a nation. Thank you.
Hey man, I get married and I have 2 kids. And right when his wife was pregnant with the second child, somebody invaded his home and they shot him in the front yard. But he lived partially a full life, but you know, just gun violence is just very senseless, and we have to be the change that we want to see out here in the streets. And my shirt says influence life because that's what we have to do. We have to influence the life. We have to be more active in the communities. We have to be out here, you know, just be a shining example to these youth and these kids, man. But I ain't gonna hold y'all up, right? So this is called Blood on the Leaves. Yeah, this song is actually on iTunes and everything like that. My name is The O. It features the Queen Christine. Blood on the leaves, his body sway from trees and lie in the street, just like roadkill, see? Murdered just for being black, women raped, community sacked. Tell me where the unity's at, and what the fuck we gonna do with that? That's what the young ones asking. That's why the young ones blasting. It's open season on niggas, so we out here trapping. I gave my life to the streets, and Jesus never showed up. My homie's brains on the windshield in front of his home, bruh. Think we ain't gonna snap off? Get your head blown slap off? This is more than a rap, dog. I've been tired of the shit. Face down in the ditch. Finna grab my heat, go blast off. I ain't marching or walking, protesting or talking. Turn the other cheek now. Fuck that, dog. This whole government situation. It's like, you white power motherfuckers need to learn a little something, allow me to kick off in that ass, dog. It's a mind state. The song has a whole different chorus that talks about lynchings from 1970 in the 1800s all the way to 1970. It gives you different stories. This is not generated, it's just how it came out when I heard the beat. Blood on the leaves, forbidden fruit on the branch. I can feel it in the air from the wounds on my back. Sister hang by a thread, brutally raped and beaten. Oh, your brothers can read. They selling him this evening. Cut your tongue out for speaking, whistling or peeping. You were born with greater skill, that's why they killing and stealing. Castration, mass incarceration, mindless sheep, wide asleep. Calcified third eye indeed, your penile in parentheses. Percocet, promethazine, blue hundreds and pistols we sell ourselves not knowing our worth, leaving them face right on the shirt. Shitty jobs and plenty work, left to pick up all the dirt, but ignorance is bliss. I gotta shake up this earth. You gotta know your worth. That's all I got.
2.5 years ago, after Mother Emanuel, 10,000 people gathered on the Unity Bridge and said enough is enough. We need to end gun violence. And today, instead of having 10,000 or 5,000 or 1,000 or 500 or even 100 people today, where they at? Well, we're talking about hood shootings, right? Primarily. We're not really talking about mass shootings. We have an obligation to one another, because a shooting is a shooting is a shooting. Gun violence is gun violence regardless of who the victim is and who the survivors are. And until we learn that we have to fight this problem together, then we're going to continue to have this problem. So we need to understand, and that's why I'm praying that cameras are running, that we need to come together regardless of who's killed to fight against this scourge, this epidemic of gun violence that we have.
First of all, I want to thank everybody for coming out, and especially to those mothers and victims who were affected directly by gun violence, who got up here and shared with us. We appreciate that. Like I said, the page is available to you. I'm always available to you. Never stop sharing your story. Please stay involved in the community. That's the only way we can have real impact. If you don't remember anything else, that's the only way we're going to have real impact, if all of us get involved. Just like he said, gun violence is not a black issue. It's not a white issue. It's everybody's issue. And you have to remember that. So I'm going to read this poem. It doesn't tie directly into gun violence, but it's a poem that's called Thankful. I'm a published poet. It's from my book, Brainstorming. And I love to do this poem because it reminds people to be appreciative of life. Be appreciative of the little things. Be appreciative of each other. So I'm going to end it with that. When my head laid to bed for rest and slumber, you see, my thoughts get to bed in me, and I often wonder, if I should perish, leaving behind the ones I cherished before I wake, am I pleased with the ways of life I chose to take? Did I give love more than I showed hate? Did I settle to be good when I was destined to be great? Did I do unto others as I'd have them do unto me? Did I practice what I preach, turning the other cheek, even if to others I look weak? Did I soar with eagles or did I slither with snakes? Was I courageous or a coward when challenges were thrown in my face? Did I stand my ground when troubling days tested my faith? I'm not claiming to be at my best, but I come a mighty long way. I've had my fair share of ups and downs, and I'm still able to say that I never gave up. Even when life beat me down, I still got back up. Right. We will never ever promise that this road wouldn't be rough. I may not have everything that I want, but what I have is more than enough. Yeah, right. You see, I live to be a sister, a woman, a wife, and a mother. And we don't have to admit it, but we all need each other. That's why I'm grateful for every smile, every laugh, and every tear. Every touch, every experience, and every feel. Time, I wouldn't rewind, because it's been that remedy that has helped every bump and every bruise to heal. You see, I'm grateful for everything that life has already given me and everything else that it will give. But most importantly, I'm grateful to have the luxury to actually live. Thank you.